Fear is the father of morality, for it is what blindly compels us to obey imposed rules, without questioning whether they truly reflect our values, causing us to lose our freedom and our true essence. Friedrich Nietzsche. With this statement, Nietzsche invites us to reflect on how fear, whether of social punishment, religious retribution, or even our own remorse, constantly pressures our ethical choices and behavior. Often we follow moral rules not because we freely choose them, but because we fear the negative repercussions of breaking them. Morality, then, can be seen as an invention to tame our instincts through fear. This force is so deeply rooted in our psyche and social norms that we rarely question it. Are we truly living according to our values, or are we simply trying to avoid trouble? Nietzsche challenges this conformity and encourages us to question the real motives behind our actions. He proposes that by confronting and overcoming our fears, we can achieve a more authentic and meaningful form of personal freedom. He believed that each human being is an artist of their own existence, shaping their life as a work of art. This view may seem radical, but consider the implications. Instead of blindly following external norms and expectations, you create and define what is important to you. This means challenging the internal barriers that often prevent us from living authentically. True freedom, according to Nietzsche, is not just the absence of external restrictions, but the ability to overcome our fears and insecurities. Are you truly living freely today? Imagine the freedom of living without worrying about others' judgments. Perhaps you fear failure or rejection. These fears are real, but they don't have to dictate your life. Nietzsche encourages us to see these challenges as opportunities for growth. By confronting and overcoming these barriers, we become stronger and more authentic. This is not easy and requires courage, but the result is a more authentic and fulfilling life. This perspective made me reflect on the nature of morality and fear. Nietzsche said that morality is the best of all inventions for taming the wild instincts. But is it really? Often, our moral decisions are guided by fear. Fear of punishment, fear of judgment, fear of failure. But are we truly living our lives, or just trying to avoid trouble? We embrace the morality of our parents and society around us out of a need for coherence and conformity, not necessarily by choice. We grow up harmonizing our ideas and values with theirs, and only later, with the help of critical thinking, do we begin to question it. This leads us to wonder, are our actions truly our own? Or are we just following a script that was handed to us? Nietzsche invites us to reflect on how fear influences our moral decisions. He points out that fear of punishment, whether social, religious, or personal, can pressure our ethical choices. Often, we follow moral rules not because we choose them freely, but because we fear the consequences of disobeying them. This fear, deeply rooted in our minds and social norms, can significantly shape our values and actions. However, the discussion does not end there. Our modern society is flooded with information from the media, distorting our perception of truth and reinforcing fear. The constant exposure to news and images can keep us in a state of mental servitude, where our decisions are influenced by narratives imposed by the powerful. For Nietzsche, overcoming this fear is crucial for achieving true freedom. He encourages us to confront our beliefs and perceptions, to critically analyze external influences, and to seek our own truth. How does this influence of fear manifest in our lives? Are we all affected in the same way? Nietzsche presents an intriguing view of how different types of morality emerge from these influences. He introduces the concept of slave morality and master morality. Nietzsche presents two forms of morality, that of the slaves and that of the masters. Slave morality is about submission, humility, and survival, while master morality is about strength, power, and dominance. In other words, while some are trying to be good boys and girls, others are living like true bosses. And what leads us to choose one morality over the other? Often, it's fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being dominated. Nietzsche encourages us to challenge these fears and to choose a morality that truly aligns with who we are. To understand better, think of slave morality as adopted by people who feel oppressed and controlled by external forces, such as society or religion. They value virtues like humility, compassion, and submission because these traits help them survive in a hostile environment. Master morality, on the other hand, is adopted by those who have the power and strength to impose their own norms. They value assertiveness, strength, and the ability to dictate rules, as these qualities are associated with leadership and control. The influence of fear is evident in the adoption of these moralities. Individuals and societies may opt for slave morality out of fear of retaliation or social rejection. On the other hand, master morality may be adopted by those who fear being perceived as weak or submissive. Nietzsche encourages us to transcend these dichotomies, to challenge the fear that shapes our choices, and to seek our own authentic and independent path. True freedom, according to Nietzsche, lies in recognizing and confronting these influences. He challenges us to question our motivations and to adopt a morality that reflects our true nature and potential. By doing so, we can free ourselves from the restrictions imposed by fear and achieve a higher form of existence. However, this path is not easy and requires immense courage to face our deepest fears. Facing our fears is easy, said no one, ever. Nietzsche doesn't claim that overcoming our fears is easy, but he shows us that true freedom comes from confronting and overcoming them. Think about that paralyzing fear of public speaking. Instead of running away, why not see it as an opportunity for growth? Prepare yourself, face the situation, and gradually you will see that the monster isn't as scary as it seemed. After all, as Nietzsche said, what does not kill you makes you stronger. The first step is to identify and recognize your fears. It's no use pretending they don't exist. If you're afraid of failure, for example, understand where that fear comes from. It could be a past experience or a societal expectation. The key is not to let these fears control your actions. View these challenges as opportunities for personal growth. Each time we face and overcome a fear, we become stronger and more confident. Consider the story of someone who is terrified of public speaking. Each time they need to present, anxiety takes over, and they do everything to avoid the situation. But instead of running away, this person decides to face the fear. They start with small presentations to close friends, then to larger groups. Over time, and with practice, that paralyzing fear transforms into a skill and even a pleasure. This is Nietzsche in action, using the will to power to overcome limitations. I can say clearly that this works because I am living proof. I've always been very shy and used to freeze up speaking in public. Today, I teach courses, make presentations to hundreds of people, and feel completely comfortable doing so. How was this possible? By facing and exposing myself to discomfort and fear until it became comfortable. It's not just about courage, but about profound personal transformation. By facing our fears, we not only free ourselves from the chains that bind us, but also discover a new inner strength. Overcoming fear is just part of the process. To truly transform our lives, we need to look more deeply into ourselves. And this leads us to the next step: introspection and critical reflection. To overcome our fears, we first need to understand where they come from. Introspection is a powerful tool for this. Nietzsche encourages us to question our beliefs and perceptions. Is your fear of failure really rational, or is it just the result of external expectations? Critical reflection helps us redefine our interpretations and confront our fears more effectively. After all, we are not just products of our environment, but also creators of our own reality. Introspection is not just about looking inward, but doing so honestly and without judgment. It's about recognizing our weaknesses, but also our strengths. Why are we afraid of failure? Perhaps because we were taught to value success above all. But Nietzsche reminds us that failure is an essential part of growth. Each mistake, each stumble is an opportunity to learn and strengthen. A useful technique is to keep a journal of reflections. Write about your fears, insecurities, and dreams. Ask yourself why you feel what you feel. Where do these emotions come from? By putting your thoughts on paper, you begin to see patterns and better understand your motivations. This helps challenge and reshape your limiting beliefs. Nietzsche also teaches us to question external influences. Often, our fears are amplified by societal expectations and judgments. Do we really need to conform to these expectations, or can we create our own rules and live according to our values? True critical reflection involves challenging not just our thoughts, but also the social norms that surround us. By confronting our fears and reflecting critically on our lives, we begin to discover a new inner strength. This inner strength is our authenticity, which Nietzsche brilliantly explains with his concept of will to power. Nietzsche introduces the concept of will to power, a fundamental force he believed to be the essence of life. For Nietzsche, the will to power is not just a quest for dominance or control over others, but a creative and affirmative force that drives all living beings to expand, grow, and surpass themselves. He saw this will as the primary motivation behind human actions, a force that pushes us to assert our existence and shape the world according to our desires and values. Think about the great leaders and innovators you admire. They didn't get where they are by chance. They utilized their will to power to face adversity and transform their lives. The will to power is more than just ambition. It's a vital force that drives us towards self-affirmation and personal fulfillment. Nietzsche saw this will as an engine of human evolution and progress. When we channel this force, we are capable of transforming not only our lives but also the world around us. Think of historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci, who used his will to power to transcend the limitations of his time and leave a lasting legacy. To apply this concept in your life, start by recognizing areas where you feel powerless. Instead of resigning yourself, use the will to power to challenge these limitations. If you're afraid of change, for example, see it as an opportunity to grow. Adopt a proactive attitude and face challenges head-on. Nietzsche reminds us that true strength comes from within, and that we are capable of much more than we imagine. The will to power is not just about overcoming external challenges, but also about conquering our own internal demons. By doing so, we become masters of our own destiny. These were the major points I learned from Nietzsche. Fears are not our enemies, but opportunities for growth. Morality should be questioned and redefined according to our personal values. Introspection and critical reflection are essential for our evolution. And, above all, that the will to power is the key to overcoming our limitations. The path to true freedom is not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. Face your fears, question your beliefs, and use your will to power to create a life truly worth living. And remember, every challenge is an opportunity for growth. So, instead of running from obstacles, embrace them with courage and determination. After all, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Thank you for staying with me this far. Your interest is what makes it possible for me to continue sharing this knowledge. If you enjoyed the content and want to continue receiving videos that add value to your life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any updates. Comment below what you thought and which topics you'd like to see in future videos. Your opinion is very important to me. And remember, knowledge is the path to true freedom. Count on me and follow the white rabbit. I won't change your life, but no one will. The difference is that I don't promise you that. What I will change is your knowledge about life. And then, what you do with it is up to you. Explore the evolution of philosophical thought, from the earliest times to the present day. Meet the great thinkers, their revolutionary ideas, and how to apply them to fundamental questions of human existence. Mental health, happiness, relationships, and purpose in life. If you seek answers to life's big questions, or simply wish to better understand the human condition, this ebook is the key you've been looking for. Click the link below to purchase now and start your journey towards knowledge that truly matters. Leave the cave. The link is in the pinned comment. Thank you for staying with us, and see you next time.